Hey guys, it's Noah Kemboy, and in this tutorial I'm going to introduce you to methods that have parameters. Like in a case where now you want to like you have methods, and as I had shown you earlier, there are methods that didn't require anything. Like we added some things here. So this was a method calculate. And maybe integer a, we had an integer a, so I'm just going to type something here before I explain what I have done. So integer a was equals to 9 and integer b was equals to 10. So in such a situation, the results is predictable, because when you save this application and run it was as expected. The result is 19. But now take for example where it doesn't have to be 9 or 10. It should be the numbers can be dynamic. What if I want to add 150? I shouldn't come to the code here and type each time, and maybe if I want to add a set of numbers in 2, I shouldn't just come here and edit from the code. Now what if it was something like this? Now I would want to create a method that inside here will put in some conditions that this method should take 2 integers, and then these 2 integers that have been taken should be added and assigned to the third integer, which will declare it in the method. And this third integer is what will be displayed on the screen. Now to do that, I'll say maybe integer a and integer b should be what is required, and I'll delete everything that was displayed here. Now we have a scenario where 2 integers will be taken from this method, meaning this method, as you can see, there's an error. This method cannot be called with empty brackets, meaning it cannot be called without parameters. This method requires, as we have declared here, and this is a must according to this point. So if you want to delete everything here, the method, this error will disappear. But then when you have now these 2 methods here, there is some error until you place some 2 integers like 10 and 9, like we had done earlier. So let us save this and see what happens. So when you run the application, the answer is 19 like before. So you see, now we want to change some information. Let us just put in some values that would confuse us, like 100 and 55. Obviously if you calculate often is just 155, but when you run this application, because we didn't change anything in this method, so we don't work with the method again. You can see the answer is it happens so great. And when you setting parameters, they have no limits. It can be a text field, it can be a string, it can be anything. It's up to you. Now let me give you an example where there's a method that takes the name, the description, and the price of a product. Maybe you want to create a big application, EPOS, electronic point of sale application, and it will be taking the product name, the product description, and the product price, and it will be posting them. So there are 2 ways of doing that. So first of all, let us delete this method here, and we will create this method because we want to display some items from the database. So I'll just call this method void, static void. So because we'll be calling it from a static method, static void. So remember, if it's not a static method where you want to call this method, you don't need to put the static part. So now this method want it to display the name. So first of all, I'll type in some message. So like system out print, and then I'll type in now name into column, and then I'll add the name. So I should add the name. So like I don't need this. So something like this name, maybe a pen. So I'll just copy that line of code and paste it out, because we want 3 columns first for the first, and then description and price. So this one, it's a blue pen and it costs 50 Kenyan shillings. Now we have something like this. We want to create a method that will be displaying, maybe there's a screen somewhere where you want your clients or your guests to be seeing the type of product you are selling, the description you want to sell, and the price you want to sell. So that is easy. You can decide to do this way and copy this information, and depending on the lines of the number of products, like this one's a shirt, and then maybe this other product here is a soap, and then you want to put some instructions. It's a bathing soap. This one, it's tangerine, and maybe this one costs 150 Kenya, or 500 Kenyan shillings, and this one costs 150 Kenyan shillings. Now we have 3 products here, but if you can notice, if you have 100 products, you'll have to copy these lines, these 3 lines, like 100 times for you to display the 100 products. But that will make your application very bulky, or the lines of code will be even confusing to repair. You wouldn't know where the shirt was, which number it was, because if you want to display this method, you just call this method. There is no problem in doing whatever you've done this time. But there's a scenario where you have so many things, like you have so many products in the database, and you can see there's a list here. The second pen, the second product, only that we didn't add a new line, so I'll just add in some new line. So I'll just copy this at the end of every product. And you can see, even editing this, you have to edit it for the 6 products. The reason why I'm highlighting or I'm raising the issues beforehand is that I want you to note what we are doing here, and the difference is what we will be doing in the next few minutes. Now, this product, it is true that it displays the name, the description, the price. That's what we want, right? But maybe there was a better way to do that. Now, let us create a different method. Now, the one that uses arguments or parameters that requires a name, a description, and a price. Like, you create a private static method, because we'll be calling it from a static method. So static, and let us call it static. We'll call our method display. You can just call it. You can just use the same name in that, but the parameters can be different. Like, let us say it will be requiring 3 strings. First is the string name, the second is the string description, and the third one, it is the string price. So now we have a method, and you can notice one thing: it shares the same name, but it doesn't produce an error. But if there was no parameter here, like when I remove them, there should be an error, because when parameters share the same name, but when methods share the same name, but the parameters are not the same. Like, this one should not have 3 strings like this one, but it can have 2 strings and an integer. You see, this one can have two strings but an integer, meaning they just not the same. But even if the variable name are not the same, but the data type are the same, now that will bring an error. So this is what we call method overloading, where you have the same names, method share the same name but different parameters, so it doesn't bring any error, because now the system can see now these are not different, it's just a different thing altogether. So that is important when you're creating a very big application. And these two methods, they're just doing the same thing, but it can do in different conditions, because these are the parameters are just like conditions. Now let us get to a point. One is private method that has parameters called display to do the same thing that this one did, only that in a simpler way. So let us just copy the first 3 lines that were displaying the name and the description. And this product name here, we will just replace it by just adding some 2 cents, and then I'll just type in the name, the string name. It will just be displaying the name directly there. And then I can just here the product, the price description, I'll just add in again 2 strings, and that is the description. And then after doing that, now again here at 50, I'll add in some 2 strings and set in some price. Yeah, now that we have something like that, let us do the same what we did here in a different way. I'll copy the method with the parameters and replace the one here, and we'll just replace the name like we are done the first method. So I'll just type in what we did. It was a pen. The description was a blue pen, and the price was 50 Kenyan shillings. So that's it. And then I can decide to copy this 3 times because we are displaying for 3 products. Now the second one was a shirt. It was tangerine, and it costed 500 Kenyan shillings. And then the third one, it was a soap. It was a bathing soap, and it costed 150 Kenyan shillings. 150 Kenyan shillings. So now we have something that we want to replicate what this first method did. So to make sure that you don't doubt anything, I'll just delete first the first method, and let us now run the application. You can see, and here we go. It just did what the other method did, only that in this situation we created another method and we declared some we gave it different products, meaning that we are now at liberty without even interfering with the code of just changing the name, like saying Dettol soap. This is a type of a brand of soap in Africa. Then so now this is Dettol soap, and I can even decide to add some products, like maybe I say add some product, add even Coca-Cola without even working with the code. Coca-Cola, it's a beverage, so I can just leave the price like that. And then now we have something like this, and when you run the application, it will display the same information. It's a beverage and the price. So meaning when we use without parameters, we are not limited. And you can see now from what we had earlier. So I just undo some of the things here, and now you remember now the first method, it had 9 lines. This one you just called it with only 3 lines to display the same information. Now you can say our parameters assist in not using so many codes. So that was it about parameters. Hope you learned something about parameters. Hope you know now how you can break if you have a very big line of codes, like you have been typing and doing a lot of repetition. This one, when you use parameters, you avoid a lot of repetition. You don't have to type system printout name, system printout name again and again name. So you can just do one thing and put only the values as parameters, so that whenever anything that will be placed here, the first will be a name and the second parameter will be a description. Remember, if you just put this file here, it will be taken in this method as a description. You cannot change even the order. So you just place the order here, the line of order. The computer will not choose for you. You just do it, and then it just does the same. So even if this method was public, there was no need to worry. If you can remember, we had part 2.java, where I can just call the name of the method, put a pointer, and then the name of the method. So I'll just copy this, whatever we have done here, like one of these, and paste it here. And then now to make sure that it doesn't run anything, so I'll just delete everything that was in methods.java. Now let us go back to part 2.java, save our project, and then let us run this file. And you can see it displayed the information quite well. So when you use public methods, so now you can see you can even create a very big application. And if this one method you want it to be used in 10 classes, just create one public method. And whenever you want to use that method that has parameters, or any method that is in public access, you can just run it anywhere. And you can see, even if it has parameters and it is public, it can be accessed by other classes without now copying this entire code and typing them here. So that was it about methods, parameters. You cannot even delete now this. Hope now you can upgrade now in using methods with parameters when needed. But if your method or kind of method does not need parameters, there's no need. The other one still can. But if you are dealing with dynamic dimensions, or the values that will be placed are dynamic, they change, you can decide to use methods with parameters. That's the best way any programmer could go. So that was it about methods with parameters. Hope I assisted you in understanding parameters in methods. And let us meet in the next tutorial. So see you later.